So first, before I even hear it in the comments, yes, it's been probably a couple years since I made a new video. I don't know if I'm exaggerating or not, but pretty sure it's been a long ass time. But anyways, as you can see, we're gonna get right back into it. Been gone for a minute, but here we have a 75-gallon tank. And yes, I am going back to African cichlids. It's what I know best. It's what I'm most comfortable with. And what you guys saw me with before, in my older videos, it was a 55-gallon. So now we're up to a 75. And what I'm about to do for my first video back, I'm going to be painting the back glass a flat black. For those who know why, well, there you go. For those who don't know why, well, first off, it presents a more clean look when you're looking into the glass, or into the tank, I should say. When you have all your connections in the back, as far as like what's plugged in, your filters, your thermometer, anything else, you don't want to be able to see all the tubing and wires dangling in the background, messing with your beautiful fish and aquascape that you put so much time into. So with painting it black, not only does it conceal all the stuff that you have in the back that's keeping the tank running, it also presents a sense of depth, and it gives everything else a cleaner aesthetic, and it also allows the colors to pop, right? So when it comes to decorations or the color of the fish themselves, being that they're African cichlids, you already know they come in a variety of colors. So when you have a black background for them to really pop off of, it sets off the tank beautifully. So what I'm gonna do is prep, paint, let it dry, see how it turns out at the end. And what I already did, we're gonna get right into it. What I already did that you guys didn't see, I use isopropyl alcohol, right? Something that you can get at Walgreens or CVS. Super basic stuff, nothing crazy here. Got a paper towel, clean. Put it on the paper towel, wipe the back glass as much as possible. What I did was I did the entire back glass, and I also did the trim, top and bottom, and also on the lip, on the edges, on the bottom and on the top. Because what I'm going to do now, the second step, is I'm going to use painter's tape, and I'm going to edge out exactly where I want to paint. So for the sake of transparency, I'm showing you guys everything that I purchased and I'm going to be using. So right here, frog tape. You get that at Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, Ace Hardware, basically almost anywhere you can get. Painter's tape, probably even Walmart if you can't find it anywhere else. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tape the borders, top and bottom. I'm gonna slightly go down and around the lip, and then I'm gonna do the outside here because I wanna get the entire glass. So let's see how much of a pain in the ass this is gonna be. Just remember, when it comes to prep work, anything like this, be patient, go slow. There's no rush here. I know that sometimes eagerness to get the tank started causes us to want to rush and get through it, but it's just one of those things that if you take your time and do it right the first time, it'll come out beautiful and you'll never have to worry about it again. The one thing you don't want to have to do is start this all shit over again. Definitely don't want to do that. So, got it across. This tape is a little flexible, I guess, so I gotta fix the bottom edge there. Luckily, with the light that I have coming in this way, I can see the tape is slightly transparent, so I can see where the edge is of my top lid, or I guess rim of the tank. I'm gonna flatten it up against there. And I left maybe about 1/4 inch hanging off the lip. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna tuck it up underneath, just like that. I'm gonna go across by sections, kind of. And then I'll run it back on one smooth pass to make sure it's nice and flat. I'm doing it like this first to make sure that there's no bubbles or missing gaps. And then I'll put my hand or my fingers flat up against the lip. I'm gonna slide all the way down to make sure it's all pressed up on the lip and clean up those corners. So just like that, we got the top of the lid. And I like it. And now repeat the process, bottom lip. Beautiful. So I got the top and bottom taped. Cool. Now you might be thinking, am I going to take the size of the glass like I said I was earlier? Upon further inspection, you guys hear that? There is sealant on the outside of the glass, on the sides I should say. So the side of the glass that connects to the rear, there's sealant that comes on the outside and the tape won't stick to that. So because it's such a sharp, it's a 90-degree angle, I'm gonna be using a foam brush and a foam roller. It should be pretty easy for me not to paint and curve around. I should be able to paint and just make a crisp line out, so that way I'm only getting paint on the back glass and no paint on the side, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's get it. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, all right, Mike, what's next? Are we gonna start painting? Not yet. Now we wanna make sure that the paint goes on there smoothly, it stays, no bubbling, no peeling. We wanna make sure it looks smooth from the backside and from looking from the front. So before we paint, we are going to use 400 grit sandpaper. And when you feel it, it is, obviously rough in texture, but it's not gonna be as abrasive as a lower count sandpaper. That's important because we're using this on glass. So remember, 400 grit sandpaper is what we're using. I'm gonna take this paper, I'm gonna fold it in half. Now, key word when doing this, we're going to lightly sand the glass. We just want to scuff it. We just want to scuff the surface ever so slightly so that the paint adheres to the surface. It's more desirable to adhere to. I don't know. What do you want me to say? I don't know. So there we go. Now, you're probably wondering how much pressure I'm applying. And this is like just enough pressure to hold it on there so that way it doesn't fall out of my hand. I'm letting the sandpaper do all the work. I'll do this back and forth motion first, and then I'm thinking I'll go up and down after to make like a crosshatch pattern. Now we're gonna go up and down. I'm splitting it in like thirds. So the lower third, middle third, and the upper third. And why not some swirling action? Cool. And now I'm using the brace in the middle of my tank to determine the half. So I'm just gonna go turn around now and give you guys the back side of me. Hope you enjoy. And I'm gonna do the other half. And I'm gonna flip the paper and use the side that I haven't used yet. So it's like using a fresh side. Now once again, barely using using any pressure here. Just enough so that the paper doesn't slip out of my hand. And if you hear any background noise, my dog is eating her food. I don't have my microphone on me right now to isolate any background noise. So you're getting everything raw. I'm going to do up and down in thirds, starting with the lower half, or the lower third, I should say. Middle third. And upper third. And I'm going to give it some swirling action. Okay. So now, visually, I can't really tell. I mean, yeah, you can see the swirls and whatnot in the glass. Kind of reminds me of like the swirling and scratching you would see on your car's paint, very, very faintly if the sun was hitting it right. It's kind of like the effect that it's giving it. That's all we want. Super simple, that's it. Now let's get the paint ready so that we can start applying it. Okay, so next question, what kind of paint am I using? Glad you asked. So we're gonna use Behr's Premium Ultra Stain Blocker Paint and Primer, Scuff Defense, all that blah, 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 just to say that it's an interior flat paint, right? So I'm using a foam brush, right? It's just foam. And then I also have a foam roller that we're gonna use after this. But this part, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use this foam brush just to get the edges, top and bottom, to make sure that there's no light gaps, I don't miss any spots. And then I'll go over with the roller to cover the entirety of the back. So this part here is just gonna be for the finer work, I guess you can say. I'm gonna get plenty of paint on here. Now, of course, be careful, right? You don't wanna spill or let any of this drip, so be mindful of what you're doing. And if you can, cover or protect what's underneath you, wherever you're painting, so that way, if you drip any of this stuff, you won't be too upset about whatever the paint fell on. So let's do it. Okay, now I got a small tray. Like I said, all you need. I got the paint in there. I'm not gonna tip it forward to show you, just trust me, it's in there. And I have a foam roller, very big difference. It's a 4-inch foam roller. And I'm sweating it with a little paint. I'm coating the foam, I guess is what people would say. And then I'm rolling it out on the dots here, on the lifted dots to kind of get the excess paint off. And once I apply this on the tank, we're gonna go super slow and we're gonna be patient. And the reason why we're gonna go super slow is because A, I don't want it to splatter. And B, I wanna ensure a nice, even coat. And I'm running it off the edge. I'm pushing and running off of that edge. If you do it without letting it roll over, you won't even touch the side of the glass. So, nice and slow. Putting a little pressure, right? Because it is foam, so it's gonna absorb the paint sort of like a sponge. So pressing down on it gets that paint out and onto the glass. And I'm gonna do this half, I'm gonna turn around and do the other half. Now, it's important to note that it will look tacky on the first coat. So if you ever painted anything before, like your house, a wall, a bedroom, anything, typically you do primer first and then your actual color after. So we're applying this as if it's got a primer, right? It's just a base coat. And then we will reattack it again after it dries until we get a nice smooth finish at the end. And remember, when you get to the edge, I'm pushing away, letting it roll off that edge, but not around the edge. Big distinction there. And I'm going to roll back over. Make sure I'm getting nice coverage. I want to take a look in the front. Just to get an idea of what we're looking like. Cool. So yeah, it is, again, like I said, it will look tacky at first, but once you keep applying those extra layers afterward, it'll fill in everywhere it looks tacky until you get a nice solid surface. I'm always looking at my roller too to make sure I don't have excess paint anywhere that'll cause any splatters. Even though I am going slow, like being extra cautious won't hurt anything, especially because I don't want it to splatter anywhere or get on anything else other than what's intended, which is the tank. And then again on that edge, pushing, double check. Nice, that's exactly how we want it. Get lower here. Now, while I'm doing this, I will say that if you're not comfortable with doing this, right, because you've never done it before, you're just not ready to take that leap, you'd rather try something else that's less risky in your mind, or that won't be as, I guess, involved. I don't know how else to say it. There's other things you can do. Like you can get window film that's not transparent, that's just completely blacked out, and you can apply it to the glass similar to how you would like tint car windows. Another way that I myself have done before, if you guys actually look at my videos in the past on my 55-gallon tank, you'll notice that the background of my tank is black. But what you don't know is that it's not painted and it's not window film. It's actually like cardstock paper that I got from a hobby shop. I think I got it from either Joann Fabrics or Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You can find it at either one of those stores. And I got a fairly large piece and I just measured the back of the tank and I cut it to size and I taped top and bottom on the back side of my tank, and that's what gave me my black background. So you can also do that too, and that is probably your cheapest option. There's pros and cons to everything, right? So the cons to doing it how I had my last tank with just the paper, the cardstock, is that it is paper at the end of the day, and paper doesn't really get along with water. So if you're doing maintenance on your tank and some water drips and gets behind on the back, it can discolor that paper a bit. It can cause it to maybe become wavy, and over time the black itself might fade because of the constant light and water getting on it. So there's that, and so you might have to contend with replacing that paper maybe, I don't know, every so often. With the film, pretty durable option, but sort of like tinting windows, as somebody who used to tint windows, if you're not familiar with it, the con with using film is that if not applied properly, you can end up with bubbles. You could end up with light gaps, top or bottom. It could tear. Depending on the quality of the film itself, the water might ruin it. It can discolor as well, maybe turn purple over time versus black. And then the con with paint is that you can get it on things that you don't want to get it on, and it's more involved, right? You have to prep the surface, tape it, clean it, all that good stuff, get the proper paint, get the equipment for it. But the pro is that it's one of those things where, like, if you do it right the first time, it'll probably be the last time you have to deal with it, or you can do it on the tank that you're applying it on, and that's it. So, all in all, the overall winner, I'd say, is painting it. But I do understand the decision to go in the other directions, because I too went the cheapest route and the easiest route. Just put paper on it. And it worked out fine. It was actually great. Nobody knew. Only I did, because I'm the one that applied it. And once it got to the point where it didn't look as pretty as when I first applied it, it really did bother the hell out of me. Obviously nobody else knew, but I did. It's like one of those things where, like, other people might not notice, but you know. So, like, if you hang something up on your wall and it's not leveled, and you just know for a fact, you can tell with your eyes it's not level, it looks off. Even though nobody else notices it, it's gonna drive you crazy. So that's what happened to me. I did eventually want to paint that tank, never got around to doing it, and life happened. And I had to prioritize other things, which is why I've been absent for so long. But now we're getting back at it. And this is good therapy for me. You know, doing what I love to do, talking to myself with just the camera, acting like you're actually here with me when you're not. While my dogs look at me like, who the hell is this guy talking to? There's nobody here. Yeah, this is what I like to do. All right, let's keep it going. By the way, I'm not sure if I'm gonna show the entirety of this painting without speeding it up or chopping it up. Maybe I will, because maybe to give you guys a sense of how long this actually takes, if you're curious. So, funny story. As I was talking about, hey, you know, I might let this entire video play out as I'm painting it to give you a full sense of how long it takes. And as soon as I ended up saying that, my battery died and the video cut. So that's cool, great timing. But anyways, we're back. Let me secure this. So it's been about an hour since I put the first coat, and so you know I'm not lying. Listen, paint's dry, right? So we're gonna go ahead and add our second coat. So now nothing's really changing other than a fresh layer of paint. And for this go around, instead of going side to side in halves like I did the first time, I'm gonna go top to bottom, and I'm gonna try to stay consistent as far as like my overlapping all the way down to the end. Cause why not? Again, this is my first time doing this, so we're learning together. All right, but nothing's gonna change as far as the speed, right? Like, we're still gonna go nice and slow. We're gonna take it easy. We're gonna prevent splattering. And I'm going all the way top to bottom. I am purposely touching the edge, top and bottom, because that's what the tape is for. And I'm gonna keep going until I see the paint kind of drying up off of the roller, which about. I think there is how far I want to go. I'm going to bring it back, overlapping with every stroke, top to bottom. And I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I am, not purposely, but I am leaving a gap, top and bottom. I don't know if you can see it. And I will reattack that with the foam brush. And now I'm gonna make another pass back because I'm looking at it. And I was pressing down a little hard on my overlapping, so it was causing a little bit of like a line in the paint with every pass. And now I went one last time over it, just ever so gently, and it got rid of those lines. And this is turning out to be pretty beautiful. I'm gonna reapply some paint on the roller. This is actually turning out to be pretty fun because, like anything else, if it's your first time doing something, once you see it actually coming together and it's working the way you hoped, kind of gets you all happy and excited. All right, well, let's not get too excited, right? So again, we're gonna take our time, go easy. That first application with the roller is always the most nerve-wracking because don't want the paint to splatter. I don't know how many times I gotta say that in this video, but I'm really stressing the fact that I don't want this paint to splatter. And so far, so good. I hope the camera's picking up how beautifully this is going on. Nice and dark and solid. I'm gonna go about right there and I'm gonna work my way back now. So I guess going from one side of the tank to the other, I split it up in thirds. So this would qualify as the center of the tank now. I did the first third on the left, now center, and I'll finish up on the right. This is so satisfying. All right, and then I did purposely go a little hard, so now I'm gonna go back over, nice and soft. And I'm literally letting the weight of the roller do the work against the glass to smooth out any lines from putting too much pressure on the roller. Nice. And I'm going to go back the other way because I'm petty and extra like that. I don't know if you guys can tell from the enthusiasm in my voice, but I am extremely pleased so far with how this is coming out. And so far, highly recommend. 10 out of 10 experience right now. This is sick. Way better than using cardstock paper. Before I finish that last third, I'm gonna look at the front just to see how it's turning out. And yeah, way better. Let me see if I can show you guys without regretting it. So give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at. So from the front looking in, right? Looks pretty solid. The camera's not really picking up. It still needs one more coat, I'd say. But look at the difference from the first coat to the second coat. Look at that. That's not dramatic at all. There's no editing there. So the first coat, as you can see all those strokes. But then with that second coat, there's a dramatic difference in how dark it is. I can still see with the naked eye that it's not completely solid yet. There's still some light coming through. And so with the third coat, I'll bring the camera back to the front again to share with you guys and see if you guys can see the difference the way that I can. But Yeah, this is turning out to be pretty sweet. Why am I breathing hard? Maybe because I'm fat. I don't know. All right, so this should be the last part of the second coat. And I don't know if this is gonna take a total of 3 coats, maybe a 4th coat, who knows. I might just keep doing it, I don't know, well, we'll see. Let me not get ahead of myself. But after this last third now, I'll come back with the foam brush and hit the edges. Go. Come back the other way. Still applying the same amount of pressure. And I'm only putting enough pressure to get all the paint out of the roller. Nothing too crazy. Once you do this yourself, you'll understand how much pressure it will require. It makes no sense for me to try to tell you how much. I'm not going to tell you pounds per square inch or something like that. All right, and now I'm going to go back again, very lightly, just to get rid of those lines. Letting the roller do the work. Now, I don't know if I said it earlier in the video, but it's extremely important that when you're doing this, you're using a foam roller. Not any other roller, but a foam roller to get a really nice, fine, clean finish. Smooth. If you use any other roller, it will leave a texture, which is what we don't want. We want this to be nice, solid, flat, black, smooth, so that it gives the appearance like the glass itself is black. And I'm going to take this and go all the way down the tank to create uniformity. So I can say with confidence so far, if you've never done this before and you're kind of like intimidated by it, don't be. This is actually really easy. I promise you, I am not an expert. This is my first time doing this. As far as keeping fish, it's a different story. I consider myself to be pretty damn good at what I do, but this right here, first time ever. Never done it before. And the biggest key to success when doing this is taking your damn time, being patient. Now, let's go get the foam brush. Okay, I'm gonna apply a little bit of paint on just the tip. And we're gonna hit the top and bottom edges. We'll start at the bottom. And it looks like the best technique here is to just dab the brush with the chisel tip into that edge. And that looks like it's working perfectly. So I would recommend that be the technique. Now, of course, if you're watching this and you have done this before and you don't agree with something that I'm doing, please leave it in the comments and tell me what it is that I'm doing either wrong, or maybe encourage me and give me some positive feedback and let me know if I'm doing it correctly, or if this is how you do it too. But if you know a better technique, I and others watching would love to know what the better technique is. But I can say with confidence, so far, this shit that I'm doing here is working out way better than I could have imagined. Not saying that I doubted myself, but I'm beyond pleased so far with how it's coming. So that was the bottom edge. Like I said, it looks like dabbing the brush into that edge is what's coming out to be the best. And so I'm going to do the same at the top. Dabbing into that edge, using that chisel tip to get all the way into that crevice, into that edge. Because once it's all said and done, I should be able to like shine a light directly into these edges and not see any light from the other side. That is the goal, at least. And from how it's looking, it looks like I might get that result, but we'll see. I feel like the Bob Ross of fish tanks right now. But in all honesty, if we take a moment, right, like this part of the process, even though we're not at the point, like there's not even any water or fish in the tank yet, but in my opinion, this part of the process is what gets us to appreciate even more our aquariums once it's all said and done. Like once it comes out exactly how you envision and people just talk about it because it's just so freaking beautiful, you can be proud of yourself and say that you did that. All your time and effort, all the little things you paid attention to, all because you took the time to make it look that way. Brother, this looks freaking awesome. All right, so now this is the second coat. We're gonna let it dry for about an hour. We're gonna come back, look at it. I'm positive, I know for a fact I'm gonna hit it with a third coat, but after the third coat, we'll see. I don't know if we'll need a fourth or not, but if we do, we'll hit it again. And stick around and see. Okay, so it's an hour later and we've made it to the third coat. Now, will it be the last? Don't know, but we will find out. It looks pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. Again, to prove that it's dry. That was physical touch, nothing on me. So let's get it. I'm gonna do the same as I did before. I'm gonna start bottom up and I'm gonna go top to bottom all the way across, breaking it up in thirds. And as always, we're gonna take this nice and slow to prevent what? Splatters. Sounds like a broken record at this point, but that is the name of the game. To make this flawless and beautiful. Yeah, guys, that. This to me looks amazing. I think that we're good. So, what's gonna happen now? I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna give it until morning to take the tape off to make sure it dries as much as possible, so that way when I pull the tape off, none of the paint wants to peel off with it. The next video you guys see will be me prepping the inside of the tank for fish. That means adding sand, water, any other decor I'm gonna put in there. Hooking up everything that I need to hook up as far as like my filter, my thermometer, my heater, my water heater, and all that good stuff. And yeah, one step at a time, we're gonna get some fish in here. We're just gonna make sure we do it right the first time and not have to worry about it again. So, but yeah, if you like this video, hit a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, because it is coming and we're rolling out with it a lot more often now. This is just the first of many to come. Consider subscribing. And then just like the video, guys. Just like the video. Go ahead. Go ahead, like the video. It helps out the channel a lot. Love you guys. Bye.